Hello everyone, I'm Zelda Kelly and I'm here to talk to you today about the Kipper deck and its meanings and where it came from. I use it in several of my readings on several series to lay a foundation. It is considered an oracle deck even though it says a fortune-telling deck. This fin de siècle Kipper means end of the century. Actually, I believe it's the beginning of the century, and I'm going to also go ahead and say the 19th century because it is done in Victorian, beautiful cards and paintings. I'm going to put this nice little box to the side. And the colors are so bright, vibrant. If you could see these really in person, they're just gorgeous and they're vibrant and they're gorgeous, like I said. The Kipper deck comes from an old German oracle deck, and it was Kipperkarten, which was the Kipper cards, or Kippergeist, which is a Kipper ghost. Either one in Germany, the meanings were okay, but you really had to be an experienced reader in order to read those. So a gentleman came through by the name of Ciro Marchetti and decided he was going to update this oracle card. I'm glad he did. I'm going to explain this to you, and you can see the Joker there, which I appreciate, and it's upright, so you know that you have to read in this regard. We don't read them in reverse, like a tarot or any other card. So what I want to do is I want to go over some of these meanings, and some of them are pretty much self-explanatory. And we're going to start off with the first four cards. Now, when you're reading for someone else, you're either going to pick for the main male or the main female, or however you want to do that. This marriage card is basically coming together, making a commitment. And as I read them, if this comes out in another type of reading, I don't read it as a marriage traditional ceremony. I read it as though, well, you sometimes marry a project, you sometimes marry a home, you sometimes marry a situation. That's how that can be read. This fourth card is a courtship. It's actually meaning, and I think it's a little, for me, that's a little backwards because the courtship needs to come before marriage, but who am I, right? So the courtship card basically is it can mean a traditional courtship between two people, but in some readings, it will mean that you are entertaining the thought of, or you are approaching this, or you are getting involved with that. So those are the first four cards. Self-explanatory to a degree, but now we're going to take the next four. Now, what I want to say to you is this. We can read these separately, but they're usually best read in pairs. And there are several different layouts. I don't use a particular traditional layout. I will either pick the card or I will choose a card or spread out the cards. If you see my readings, that's what I do. So here are the next four. We have a mature male. So that would be someone who is either father, could be a brother, uncle, grandfather, ancestor. Same with the mature woman. It is mother, grandmother, sister, aunt. It's self-explanatory. We're going to put those down. Okay, so the seven, a message. I like these cards because you see, sometimes it takes an effort to write a message. Sometimes, and I like these older, I love these vintage looking paintings or drawings on here. The number seven, all of these numbers can be significant and fit into your reading per what you are reading, and sometimes they give me either a date or even a time, season, however. Okay? So, a letter, a message, it can be by telephone, it can be by letter. I'm going to say we're going to update this and say an email or a phone text. Anyway, this is a message incoming for you, or you could be writing a message to someone. Now, the other thing is, I like this card. Why do I like this card? Because it tells us who we need to be looking out for. If this card lays beside a particular person, then we know that that person may not be right for us, or there may be a letter coming from someone who does not have good intentions. This is not only a false person, but it's that card that basically says, look, somebody's trying to pull the wool over your eyes. They're a fake person. They're pretending that they are something that they are not. Now, what if I had this marriage card with this false person? First of all, you see cherry blossoms up here, and you can get really involved with these cards. There's cherry blossoms here. You see this looks hot and fiery. This can be a desire. This can be someone who is pretending to fit into a certain situation. I would say if someone came to me and I pulled out these two cards, I would say if you're getting married or engaged, you need to be cautious. You need to find out if that person is marrying you for all the right reasons. Do you see how that works? You can also pick out timing. Cherry blossoms, well, cherry blossoms for me is June. Now this marriage card can also be a timing card, and it can also be for an anniversary. So you see, it's picking out those beautiful photos, picking out everything from these beautiful cards, and making sure that we understand and we know exactly what the situation is bringing to us. So if you ever get a Kipper deck, the best thing to do is study it when you get it. Let's take the next 4 cards. This next, it's a change. You see, I love this. Isn't this cute? You've got this guy. He's sitting there waiting. There is this little car, but it's loaded up with home goods and suitcases, and then there's a building, a home. He's either moving out or he's moving in. It can be a timing card for you to know, yes, is the sale of your house going to go through? Yes. Is the buying of a house going to come? Yes. Are you changing situations? Are you moving out or are you moving in? Are you moving to another job? Are you moving to another circumstance? Change is ahead. And look at that card as that. This journey card. You see, I love that railroad there. Someone is traveling, taking a trip. It's a journey into sometimes the unknown, or it can be a journey into sometimes the cosmic unknown. If we don't know exactly where we're headed, this card will come up. I've seen this card come up also in a different circumstance, as in you can take a journey while you're reading a book. You can take a journey while you're deciding to do a different task or a different chore. You can take a journey if you're not driving the same way to work every day and you're taking a detour. There are so many ideas that can spawn off of this card. The next 2 cards, sudden wealth. Now, this can definitely be anything from a lottery win to gold, hike in gold. It can be sudden wealth. You can be inheriting money. You can be receiving money in a lump sum from the government, however that works out. But sometimes, as I read it, many times in my reading, it's a sudden wealth of a situation. Basically, let me do this for you. If I had this message card and this sudden wealth card together, I would read this as, and suddenly I would be getting a letter or a text or communication from a person that would give me sudden wealth of information that I need. It would be something that you would gain. It is not considered a loss. So let's do it this way. What if there were change? A sudden wealth, meaning this change would definitely be good for me and I should not question it. Or let's do this. What if this false person was beside the sudden wealth card? Then you need to start questioning who this person is and why they are around you. You because Are they around you because they feel that you may have a little bit of do-re-mi? Those are the ways that you can read these cards. Now, the privileged lady, it's someone that basically has a little bit more money. Rich can be someone who is privileged to go into a circumstance, a situation. It can be you have a particular privilege to do something. That's what this card means. Let's take the next 4. Now, there are 39 cards in this particular deck, and usually a Lenormand deck, which I think in some ways it's kind of considered to be a Lenormand, but it's more Kipper. There are 36 cards. These are 39. Usually in any card deck like this, Oracle cards, you see odd numbers. All right. So now we have this wealthy man. Same thing as the privileged lady, but this wealthy man could be bringing a wealth of information to you. Do you see how that works? It's kind of fun to put all these together, almost like a game. And you know, the Germans have a oracle deck that basically they call it the game of life. That could have been part of what this oracle deck is formed off of. So, life is a game, isn't it? A message of concern, meaning there's message coming to you. And if I were to read this like this, a message of concern means you better be prepared. There might be some not so good news coming to you. You may have thought that there was something coming to you that, well, would be a little better than what it is, but it's a message of concern, and it may have to do with any type of change whatsoever coming for you. See how that works? Now, the Lover's card. This means, and you see the 2 doves there, and you see these 2 figures just engrossed in each other. This is basically a lover's card. But I also want you to look at the surroundings a little bit and just search this card, because this lover's card is very lush and very beautiful and filled with love. But this lover's card can also mean that you can be a lover of beautiful things. You could get a very good message of love. You could get a message that you really love. Or you could get a message, let me see, a message of concern. You could get a message of concern from your lover, your mate, your partner. That's how it works. Now, thoughts. If these 2 were together, you can say you have someone thinking about their lover, their person of interest. But let's go one further now with this thoughts card. You see, this gentleman is thinking of this lady here. But you can have thoughts of anything. It's not particular dedicated to just this one subject. You could be thinking of a message that would be coming through. You could be thinking, who is this false person that is around me? It is a thought card and an invitation for you to start wondering and, well, thinking about what it is that you need to accomplish. You could be thinking of taking a trip and a journey. You can be putting all of that together. The next 4 cards. A gift. Now that's pretty much self-explanatory. You see there's a warm fireplace in the background. There's all kinds of wonderful things. This is in a home setting. Is someone actually giving you something? Someone could actually give you sudden wealth. Where is that card? Someone could give that to you. You see, this is what happens when I go there, right? Someone could be giving you sudden wealth, or it could be the idea of an inheritance coming to you, right? Someone could give you a gift or a birthday card. Someone could be giving you the gift of knowledge to know that this false person may not be who they say they are. And even though they may give you something, you have to decide what side of the fence you're on. Do you believe them or do you not? The next cards. Look at that little sweetheart. This is a child, could be a teenager, could be even a young adult or a mature adult. But it is also a new beginning. Approaching something or a project with just this beautiful, wide-eyed knowledge of something that is going to happen. Now, the other thing is the house and the coffin. The house comes first. You could be making a change. Where are the cards? See, I keep messing the cards up because I want to show you how that is. Where is my change card? I'll find it here. But if this card comes up beside, let's say a gift, someone could leave you a house. Someone could give you a gift for your house. It could be many, many different things. You're the one who interprets how you're going to be working that through, right? So if you're taking a trip, you could be staying in an Airbnb. You get it? That's how you read that. Sorry, I'm just really making a mess here. But I want to do this justice and give you an example of how to read these particular cards. That's what I would say. Or if you're moving and if you're buying a house, are you buying it in the summer? Are you going to be closing on it in June? Is it a gift coming to you as a present, as a wedding gift? Could you be buying a new house for your marriage? That's how they're read, okay? You could be thinking of moving. You could be thinking of having a new house. Change is inevitable when you see the house, or there definitely is a circumstance or a situation around the house that you need to think about. And I am trying to arrange these. Okay. All right. So now we have the coffin. Now we know what the coffin means. The coffin is loss. But sometimes in a particular reading, it may not mean that it is a loss of life. It could mean literally, if it were near this card, you may lose some money. There may be someone who walked away from you in a relationship. This message of concern could be that you're facing some type of loss and you better do something about it. That's how this coffin can be read. I would consider, for all intents and purposes, there's my change card that I've been looking for. For all intents and purposes, I would read this as a loss. Now, what happens when we have a loss? If this change card were anywhere near it, many of us change after a loss. Sometimes we don't even have a choice. We have to make sure that we are in a good place. Now, you see some cards in other oracle decks have lilies. There's a lily here. And a lily for me, for my personal reading, is a commemoration of the loss of someone through well, going to heaven, a loss and dying, so forth. And that's how I read that sometimes as a confirmation. We have 5 candles there. Sometimes you can use that for timing and or the 1 and the 9. But I would read that as a loss is coming and there could be a total loss. Next 4 cards. The family room. Now, I see this card many times, and the reason that the family room would come up is because it is a gathering place. It is a place for comfort. You see how comfortable that looks. It's a place for comfort, and it is also a place where maybe even a significant event has taken place. Any way you slice it, that family room is in the home and it is significant or it would not be coming up. There could be a significant event coming through, or if nothing else, you may need to buy some new furniture, drapes, or even renovate. However, this comes up when you are reading. The next person or the next thing is this official person. It can be law enforcement, it can be a judge, it can be someone in the military. You see how he's got a little bit of fruit salad on his uniform there. It could be many things, but it is an official person who can make a decision. So, just so you know, that official person is important, and it could be even a doctor, a lawyer, someone who can make a decision for you and on your behalf. It could be a mediator, however that works out, but the choice is yours depending upon the cards when you read them. Now, obviously, here is the courthouse. Now, if these two are together, I would say this is either a lawyer or a judge or law enforcement, and depending upon other cards. But this courthouse means there's got to be some type of an official judgment that will help you get through a particular situation. Maybe even having a moderation type of, working through things. But whatever it is, it's where someone else helps you make a decision or judges in a lawsuit and many other things like that as well. The 23 can be for a timing. A thief. Well, look at this. Now, this thief could be, if it's near a false person, well, you know what's up when you say that. There's a false person around you, and be careful. He could steal. If this card shows up, and it has in the past, I personally would read that as a loss of life and how someone has taken it from someone. And that's the M word. I'm not going to say it here. You know what I mean. The next 4. And we're getting down there, so thank you for hanging in there. But I want to show you this because it is so important. The high honors, but first we're going to start with, this high honor first. The high honor is, look how hard they are in a battlefield, and they will be honored in a particular situation in which they deserve. But it could be that if I was reading it this way, let's just say we have these 2 cards together and you got a high honor. Well, you're going to be honored, all right, maybe with a very lengthy sentence. Your maybe very big restitution. However that goes, this card means that there certainly was a battle, a tug of war, so to speak, to make sure that a situation turned out one way or the other. And I always like to say within this, there's no gray area. It's either yes or a no. This great fortune, well, we know that's pretty self-explanatory. That also comes with this sudden wealth card. You see him peeking out here. This great fortune card can be read in many ways, but it's very popular. And I'm going to say this once again, if you have a court and you have this, well, you're very fortunate because it looks like the court is going to rule in your favor. You see how that works? So use your imagination just a little bit. Look around the card and enjoy these. Now, the unexpected income. That is a card that, yes, it can be a gift. It can be something that you've been waiting on and you've forgotten about it. It just could be a lottery win. It could be anything. But in my readings, many times, I think that it can also be unexpected income of messages, unexpected income of knowledge, of documents, of things like that. So it's not only about money. Expectation. Well, this looks like something, right? You're looking out the window, you could be expecting news. You could be expecting a verdict. You could be expecting to hear about someone's arrival. Or you just could be expecting bad weather, whatever the case may be. But use your imagination because these cards are storytellers. And I'm going to tell you, 9 times out of 10, they're pretty spot on when I'm reading. Okay. Imprisonment. Many times I see these in my readings. Someone is expecting that they think they're going to go to jail and they have to prepare for it, right? Many times I've seen this together. That means, well, it's not a great fortune. There is a dire circumstance in which someone is going to have to pay for it, restitution or time, however that works. This next card is judication. It means that sometimes we just need mediation. I said moderation before. Mediation, sometimes we need to know that we may be handling things the right way. Now, I'm also going to say this could also be a doctor or a lawyer or law enforcement because you need someone there to help you make a decision. And depending upon the other cards and how they're laid out, I mean, there are thousands of ways these cards can be laid out. Use your imagination. This card, self-explanatory, bad health. And believe me, it's a rarity. You know what card I'm looking for. It's that coffin card. And if it shows up, it's a serious health issue and you need to be seeing a doctor if you haven't already. That's what I'm getting there, my darlings. So I don't predict the D word. I never have. I believe that that is God's business and not mine or anyone else's. And when it comes, it comes. We're not supposed to know the time. And the bad health is a signal for you to work some things out. Or it could be that maybe a business is faltering or failing. The health of a business, the health of economy, the health of many other things. Just know that is something that needs immediate attention. Despair, well, we know what that is. That also comes with loss. That comes with depression. That comes with deep despair. Maybe somebody got a prison sentence and there's a lot of despair over that. Maybe there's a journey ahead that you don't want to take, but you know you have to. Maybe you got a message and it just wasn't the message that you thought you should be getting. Or maybe that person that has been by your side, you found out that they that they are not someone who they say they are. You get it. I know you do. All right, let's take the next 4, and then we have 3 left. A concern. That's a healthy concern. When you take a look at that, he's sitting there in his office and his beautiful, he's got he's touching his face. That is wisdom. He's thinking through things. This concern means that, okay, well, maybe somebody is sending a concerning message. We do have a card like that. What are you going to do about it? That's what this card means. Now, occupation. This has to do with someone working with their hands. It could be some type of labor. It could be someone who does housework, cooks for a living. It could be, look, she's sewing. I love these cards. It could be not so much hard labor, but even though those things are, pardon me, it means that it also can mean that it's time for you to look for another job, depending upon the other cards. It basically is talking about what you may do or what you're doing for a living. Now, the pathway. Isn't that a beautiful card? Look at that. But the pathway, you've got a long way to go. You can see that it's not going to end quickly, that whatever it is that you're taking on, circumstance or situation, there's a long way to go. And it may not be as a beautiful path as this, so it means to prepare. This distant horizons, silver lining around the card, but it is going to be a while. So that's what you got to think about. It's not going to be anytime soon. This added together 36, it could be 36 days, 36 months, or it could be 3 plus 6 is 9. It could be 9 weeks, 9 months, 9 years, however that works out. But distant horizons, if I can talk today, means that this is something that maybe you need to prepare for or look forward to. That's how that is. Okay. So now, the last cards we have. Poverty. Well, that pretty much says it all. But it can be that you're lacking in information. It can be that it's not poverty based on money. It could be poverty based on I have lost love. I have lost my home. I have lost this. It's basically usually based on loss. But it always, remember, you see the sun is coming up and peeking through. This card can also mean that that is temporary and to work through it the best way you can. This, toil and labor. This card means, yeah, you're working, is not as good as this occupation, because this occupation can definitely mean that you could even be self-employed. But this particular card, the toil and labor, means that you are working for someone else, and it is hard work. And that you don't have a choice. You've got to go to work. You've got to take care of this situation. There's no choice. If you don't, there's consequences and even ramifications that would put you in a state of poverty. So that's how you read that particular card. And then last but not least is the community. And you see all smiles are there. There's family. There's people behind there and so forth. Well, this community card community is important. Being involved with community, embracing community. But say, for instance, if you have, let's say this, you have a false person. Is there a false person in the community that's causing problems? Is there someone in, say, for instance, law enforcement or in city council or something like that that you need to be aware of? And does the community know about it? That's how to read that card. So for right now, my darlings, that's the best of the Kipper deck that I can give you. I really hope that you can get this deck sometime. It is really worth it. And just like this, let me show you this. Some of these cards, you're going to see initials, like one right there is a C and an M. There are 4 people that worked on these cards. Ciro Marchetti is one, and that is his initials. But I also look at that as C and M may be a community, or it could be a mature community, meaning it's been around for a while. So it's how you read them, interpret them, and make sure you have fun. Thanks so much for hanging in there with me. I really appreciate this. And I appreciate you having the interest in the Kipper cards. Now, when you see me read for these, you'll know exactly where we're coming from. Thanks so much for watching. And you know what? If you want a psychic reading, come on over. See me at trueoracle.com. I'm an extension 11, and we have great first-time caller rates. Stop on over and give me a call. I'd love to be able to talk with you. You take care. Have a beautiful day. And again, thanks for watching. Make sure you like and subscribe. Thanks again. Bye.